Do you want to sing or shall I sing? Will you feel better once you start?
Yeah.
No.
What do you do then? In about 30 seconds, the holy name will get rid of whatever it is. You're going to feel great in about 2 minutes.
No, I think he should sing.
But you can both sing.
He wants to sing.
Okay, you sing.
You can sing.
Yeah, I'll sing with you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice. I really like that. I've not heard that tune before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes his own tune.
I like it. It was really kind of very cleansing, very kind of,
Yeah.
with good energy to it.
We should have seen him in the temple in our house. He just goes in there.
I don't know the book.
Yeah, he's
Amazing.
in somewhere else. Like there's nothing bothering him.
Yeah.
Like people might be screaming outside. He's not. He's just shut and his eyes are completely. And when he comes out, he has tears in his eyes.
I've got to stop because I'm crying too much.
Amazing. That's what we want. Yeah, amazing. We're going to do Harinam, like you wanted to do Harinam. So we're going to do, but what we're going to do is, you know, Henley Beach, along the actual beach.
Yeah, yes.
We're going to do it along there because I think that's a place where if we keep moving, there won't be any issues.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, as long as you're moving, they can't do anything.
Yeah, I think what we might do is that T-shirt's very good, piece of music. I think for all wearing one of those, I'll get up.
That's a reggae band.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. The only reggae band I know is UB40. Is that reggae band?
scar.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's kind of
But yeah,
regular.
they're beautiful themselves.
Yeah. So, just gonna grab mine.
Yeah, the group name is Painful Change, but that's their emblem.
Oh, that's quite good branding for us. People see that, they go, oh, well, I'll probably add Hare Krishna.
What they do is they go to street artists all around the world.
Yep.
And someone in their studio, there's a group of 6, they record a song, then they go to all different countries and they get street artists. And they play the song to them and they play to the song. So when they're playing their songs, they'll show you someone in Venezuela, someone in Australia, someone in Japan, someone in China, someone in South America, and they're all playing the same tune.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing sounds.
Okay, I'll look that up. I'm just going to close that blind because the sun's just come out. It's time of day that just crossed. So I'll just do quickly the prayer. Om Majanati Vrandasya Jnanangara Sadaka Kaksham Vritam Yena Tasmai Sri Guru Namaha Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swaya Rupa Kadamayam Radati Swapandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Siyuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnadvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parishitaya Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahar Kanalalita Sri Viksam Chantamscha He Krishna Kanana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancha Gorangi Radha Vrindavasari Visabhana Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Manchakapaltapscha Kripa Sindhubayu Evacha Patinanayam Bhavanabayo Vaishnabayo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Cool, so we're going to look at 10.8
10th chapter and 8th.
Verse 8, yes, sorry, my fault. So we read it together. So,
The opulence of Absolute?
yeah, so just, I think we've got somebody else coming. So what's that? Who wrote that? One second. Who was that? Hello, Hare Krishna. Are you dropping the food? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Let's just get this.
This is puja.
Puja Master. Hare Krishna. Krishna.
This is 10th chapter,
Verse 8. Yeah, so Puja Master, I'll give you my phone. Have you got a phone?
Yes.
I can put the verse on the phone for you if you let me into Google.
Sure.
I'll use videos.
I do have a copy, but I am not carrying one today.
Yes, I'll give this fine. Yeah. I'll do it for you. Oh, data is off. That's clever actually. Might as well get all the junk all your data. Okay, that's it. This is the same. What you'll have is the same with the same commentary. Okay. Okay, so we'll read the verse together, and I'll give a bit of an explanation. If you, some people are very familiar with this specific verse and this section, for reasons we'll go into in a minute. So
It's one of the main ones people know.
yeah, it's one of the, yeah. So perhaps, Vijay Mata, would you want to read it out and we can repeat it? We can do it 3 times.
Can someone do it for me and then I can?
Aham savasya pravavo,
Sarvasya Prabhavo,
mata savam pravartate,
Mata Sarvam Prabhavtate,
iti matva bhajante mam,
Iti Matva Bhajante Mam,
Buddha bhava samamvita.
Buddha Bhava Samanvita.
Cool, we can all read it out once, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine.
aham sarvasya prabho matah
Savasya Prabhavo
matah sarvam pravartate
Matra Sarvam Pravartate
iti matva bhajante ma
Iti Matva Bhajante Mam
buddha bhavas samanavita.
Buddha Bhava Samanvita
Aham Savasya Prabhava
Aham Savasya Prabhavo
Mata Savam Prabhatate
Mata Sarvam Pravartate
Iti Matva Bhajante Mam
Iti Matva Bhajane Mam
Buddha Bhava Samantida.
Buddha Bhava Samamvita
Couple of
Aham sarva.
It's good.
Sorry.
It's good, it's good.
I'm not very good with this.
It's like, nor am I. I'm terrible.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham Savasya Prabhavo
mata sarvam pravante
Mata Sarvam Pravartate
iti matva bhajante mam
Iti Matva Bhajante Mam
buddha bhava samanvite.
Buddha Bhava Samamvita
I'm going to try and do it from memory. I'm probably going to make a mess of it. Aham Savasa Prabhavo
Tasya Prabhavo
Mata Sava Pravatate
Mata Sarva Pravartate
Buddha Bhavita Samvita
Iti
Iti Matva Bhajante Mam
Iti Matva Bhajante Mam
Buddha Bhavita Samvita.
Buddha Bhava Samamvita
So we can read. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So one level very simple, another level extremely complicated. So this is one of the 4 slokas, which is called the Katara slokas, the 4 slokas that summarize the entire Gita. Okay? So 10.8 is the first one, 10.9, 10.10, and 10.11. Right? So if you don't have time to read the whole Bhagavad Gita, you can read just these 4 verses, and the commentary again and again, you get the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So in some ways, it's like the snapshot of the whole thing. So what do we learn from this? Well, the reason that this, as you remember, I said the Bhagavad Gita is in 3 sections. The first 8 chapters are Karma Yoga, the middle 8 chapters are Bhakti Yoga, and the final 8 chapters are Jnana Yoga, knowledge of the supreme and the material world, and how material energy works. So the reason this is in the middle of the Bhakti section, near the middle, is because this is about understanding what you really are, where you're really at, and therefore logically you're going to surrender to the Lord. Okay? So the degree in which you surrender will be dependent upon your understanding of how little you're actually in control and how much Krishna is in actual control. Okay? So we looked at, over 10 to 12 weeks, we've looked at the real reason why Krishna has created the material universe. Okay? That's important to understand. Okay? So I'll just repeat all the stuff because basic stuff is so important. So the real reason the material world was created is that all the souls at one point were in the spiritual world. And they decided the rule, the basic fundamental golden rule in the spiritual world is that everybody works as a pleasure giver for Krishna's pleasure. So all work harmoniously with each other. Okay? And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to know what it was like to be the Lord. It was like a form of envy. So they moved from their natural constitutional position of the soul is to be a pleasure giver, so it's become a pleasure taker with that mentality. So what Krishna did was, every soul is a part of Krishna, and is naturally, when it's uncovered, like material energy is amazing, right? So we're all amazing, right? We're all full of energy, bliss, happiness, and that's our natural state. And our natural state of contentment is pleasure giving. Yeah? because we were naughty, Krishna, instead of annihilating us, Krishna, because he's infinitely merciful, he created the material world. Yeah? And the material world is here to reform us so we go back to the state of being our eternal nature, which is to be a pleasure giver. So the moment we're pleasure takers, a lot of things we do, it's about us. So today we're going to look at this verse and we're going to move into one of the hardest things to learn in devotional service, one of the hardest concepts to grasp. So the material world is created, and we were put here to, as soon as we desire something which is not to do with Krishna, we get involved in karma. That's what the first 8 chapters are about, karma yoga. Right? And the idea is that eventually, after many lifetimes, you kept getting slapped, and you'll basically eventually duck. You'll learn not to put your head there. Right? So the idea of the material world is through karmic reactions, you'll learn that you don't want to be in a physical body in this material world. Okay? So that's one of the fundamental things to grasp. Okay? And when you do a Bhagavad Gita class, it's quite interesting the question and comments that people under 30 give, because they kind of approach this issue of life's not so bad, it's not so bad being in this body, and often senior devotees will go, but you're not old yet, you don't know what it's like, it's not fun, right? It's a ticking time bomb waiting to go off of extreme suffering and despair, and potentially horrible illness. And the reason that we keep dying painfully and getting ill and keep being reborn, keep dying, keep being reborn, is to eventually that we can start waking up and going, hang on a minute, what am I doing? There must be something else but this, At some point in the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, and he keeps waking up in the same town, the same place, eventually he's going to go like, hang on, how do I stop this? And he ends up becoming reformed by the end of it. At the start of the movie, he's trying to kind of go out with this girl by lying to her and cheating her, but eventually has to kind of be an honest person. It's by repeating himself, and that movie is quite a good example of what we're going through. So you have in the opening 8 chapters these wonderful things like Krishna says, a person in knowledge, in spiritual knowledge of Krishna, sees with the same eye a mound of earth, a heap of gold, a cow, a sage, a dog, and one who eats the dog. Okay? So the sage, the dog eater, and the dog, all of them are being punished in different ways, and also enjoying in different ways because of their rejection of Krishna. So what you're actually seeing is to see human beings with equal vision, is to see different conditionings over previous births that are impacting on this life. Someone's more greedy than others, someone's more successful than others, so they've got a little piety or good karmic charitable acts in their previous life that they're now benefiting from. And as somebody's going through unfortunate events in their lives, they're also suffering because of previous karmic acts. And some people, they're plants. When I say people, these are souls just like us. Forget about the externality. They're plants, they're like worms, they're flies, so they're really suffering. And then they could be spiders or insects living in the dark. So they're really nescience, they're really extreme ignorance, these souls, because they really want to just enjoy, eat flies and do things like that. So the darkness of ignorance, right? So the verse is about understanding Krishna. Everything that emanates, that exists, comes from Krishna. It cannot manifest without Krishna. The material world or the spiritual world. Okay? So eventually you go, okay, what's Krishna's playbook then? Right? Okay? When Prabhupada Brahma Jignasa, you're asking, why am I here? This question of why I'm here learning the Bhagavad Gita means that you've had millions and millions of lives to get to this point, to start to make conscious decisions about whether you're a pleasure giver or a pleasure taker. Right? First time after millions and millions of births, you're in this highly elevated position actually. Right? If you think about it, if you look outside and see all the trees and stuff, they've got millions and millions of births they've got to suffer, right? Before they can get to a point where they can chant Hare Krishna once. So this is a highly privileged position. So you've done a lot of good work to get to this level. Right? But Krishna says that once you understand really deep down, and you can put that knowledge, jnana and vijnana, you put it into practice. Jnana is knowledge, vijnana, you put it into practice. Then you will completely surrender into me. Because you'll realize it's a form of madness. Okay? And to understand what's happening in this material world, it's rather like this. imagine, I used to do quite a bit of theatre, so I'm going to do something very weird, okay? Imagine I wake up and I'm 100% convinced that I'm a dog, okay? So I wake up in the morning and I just go, like, go front of the kitchen, I stick my head in the cereal bowl, there's milk all over my face, and I'm chewing away, you know, and I'm leaping around the house, you know, and to be crude for a moment, I'm weeing on the furniture and, you know, biting people going outside and screaming at bicycles, right? And then, like eventually, like, you know, your wife or your spouse, your partner, or whatever, whoever it is, your parents go, okay, we need to get this guy, you know, sectioned and sent to a psychiatric hospital, right? So you get sectioned, and you end up in this psychiatric hospital, and then over time, like, psychiatrists realise, this is not a physical thing. This is, I've got to retrain this person. So you basically get this hugely benevolent psychiatrist you end up with, Krishna, who goes, okay, I'm gonna spend my time teaching this person that they're not a dog, because they're not. Right? They seem to be behaving like a dog. They're like trying to basically breed with dogs. They're like trying to breed with the trees and going like sniffing everything, you know. So every day they're doing something little to kind of reform you, to make you realise that you're not a dog. So lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, you're trying to understand that you're a spirit soul. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're now, imagine how difficult a process it is when you end up in that psychiatric doctor's armchair and you're going, no, say hello. That's what we're like to Krishna at the moment. You know? He's like going, my God, like, you know, but he's so benevolent, so powerful, and he's with us as a super soul inside, watching everything we're doing, recording it. And he's in every single soul, so he knows every interaction. We talked about this. Like, if two people on an arm wrestle, right, to win £1 million, ultimately Krishna will decide who wins. He's ultimately controlling the material energy, right? So, if we look at the first sentence, go back to the verse, the translation. I'm the source of all material and spiritual material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Okay? Yeah. So it's the understanding that this is a prison house to turn us into pleasure givers and stop ourselves from being pleasure takers for the Lord. The wise who know this understand the prison house, that it's a prison. Yeah? They know that the natural thing to do is return to your constitutional position, which is the devotional service. Yeah? That is the only sane activity in this world. Otherwise, you're buy me a mobile phone, buy me my kids do this. It's just, that's what it's like to Krishna. It's insanity. Because you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be being reborn again and again in the material world. Right? Even Brahma, who created the universe, came out of a navel. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Even he wants to enjoy it. He wants to emulate the creation of the Lord. Right? You will see all these emulations of all Krishna's energies are. I want to be a parent. Oh, I want kids to do this, you know. Well, actually, there's only one parent. Krishna is the only parent. You know? Why are some swamis who become renunciates, like Keshava Swami, you know, he doesn't have kids, he just became a swami at 42. Because he's already at that point where he knows, I don't have kids, I'm emulating Krishna. That's a fake enjoyment. This is chewing the tube, it's fake enjoyment. It's not real, it's a hallucination. You know? Now, chanting Hare Krishna, because Lord Chaitanya came as Krishna in Kali Yuga, and the reason he came, I'll give you a working theory to make it easier. Okay, the reason Lord Chaitanya came is what happens over the 4 yugas, the 4 cycles, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, is their souls are floating up and down from the heavenly planets down to the hellish planets down to this world, back up again. You know, they do their punishment, they come back up. You know, there are a few souls here that come to the end of their time in the material energy. So the material energies, the universes come out, they go back into the Vishnu, come out into the Mahavishnu, go back out. You know, and over time we've become reformed, and that's how we've ended up listening to Bhagavad Gita. Right? That's how important Bhagavad Gita is. It's like one of the tickets to get on the train to get out of here. Yeah? That's what Bhakti is. You know? Bhagavad Gita is a key part of that, having that jnana. So We are trying to train ourselves to do something, to rub out the last bits of this karmic journey that's happened in births and births and births. Remember we spoke about the fact that even the fact that you like certain things and you want to enjoy in a particular way, that's happened because of previous accumulation of previous births. Your psychological nature, which is not actually your real self, the soul, okay, it's this physical thing, your body, and it's, I like this, I don't like that, that's a hallucination. That comes after many, many births of developing a character. So you're not actually what you think you are. So the dogs out there will go, you've got a big tail, which means like, you know, you've got a very stubborn mindset. And you've got a very short tail. They're talking to each other like that. But you know you're not a dog. It doesn't matter whether you've got a short tail or a big tail. Okay? That's what this is talking about. It's like you're in such deep knowledge that you know, but I can't be upset on the soul. Like Krishna's already saying in Bhagavad Gita, Dehi no snemi yada dehi. And you can you look born, you don't die, you just go move on from one body to another. Okay? So this is a concoction. And because you want to keep living in this concoction. So what is this concept that we have to try and grasp, which is when you start saying this, it's like putting a 50-ton weight on your head. If you've been in the material world life after life after life, okay, if you start saying this to yourself, I mean, you might not have the same effect, but so if you start saying, imagine you finish chanting, you kind of have a break, 8 rounds, you go, 100% everything for Krishna, 0% for me. 100% everything for Krishna, 0% for me. That's the original constitutional nature. Right? That's what this 10.8 is talking about. This complete surrender. Complete surrender isn't like, okay, a little bit for Krishna, but now it's my moment of self-enjoyment. Yeah? No, this is 100% for Krishna, 0% for me. 100% for Krishna, 0% for me. What happens to people when they actually start to absorb that? Like, well, I'm like free, man. I don't have any of these hallucinations. I'm not a dog anymore. It's like after 2 years in the clinic, it's like, I was barking? My God, I thought I had a snout.
It's like overeating.
So what we're trying to do is 100% for Krishna, 0% for me. That begins the selflessness and gets you away from, I'm a pleasure taker. Because the material world and its energy belong to Krishna. They don't belong to you. You're stealing it. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be, I've got such a nice car. Well, look at my carpet. You're not supposed to be a pleasure taker, you're a pleasure giver. Okay? So you eventually have to go, hang on, if 100% for Krishna, 0% for me, why do I need to go to a carpet store? How's that going to help? Well, unless my floor's got nails poking around so no one can come and have a Kirtan out. I don't need to do that. Okay? I found this is one of the things I struggled most with this concept. It's at the heart of Karma Yoga, the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah? So it's like, we talked about this ice cream thing, where I want to go and eat an ice cream, but what's that got to do with Krishna? You wanting to enjoy an ice cream. It doesn't have any direct relationship with the Bhakti, right? Oh, sorry, stuff, yeah. Okay. It doesn't have, eating ice cream doesn't have a relationship with Krishna, right? But this is very difficult because what we all have is we want to instinctively go, like I was talking about my Japa history over 20 years or whatever it was, try and chant, never look at the football results. I'll enjoy for myself. Krishna, right? So what you do is when you chant, you put the bag down, you finish your 16 rounds, or it's 2 rounds, or 3 rounds, what you say is, because Krishna is his holy name, he can be his holy name, he can be the wall. You know, Hiranyakasipu got killed by Krishna coming out of the pillar, as Vishnu would have. Because Krishna is the holy name, and that moment you're with Krishna, you start by honesty. That's how you really make big leaps of progress in bhakti, right? So you chant? Yeah. So when you finish chanting, you go, Krishna, because you've got to go to work, make breakfast. What do you want to, I'm now going to forget you. And this isn't right. I'm sorry, I'm going to forget you. Because that is what you're doing, right? You have to, when people become honest with this, then they can start thinking, 100% for Krishna, 0% for me. They can't really absorb that until they understand where they are. Yeah? There's nothing wrong with it because you're in this amazing position. You're like heading towards a runway at the gate, you're getting on the plane to get out of the material world now. Okay? And almost certainly for a lot of people who start doing japa of any sort, they will get out in this lifetime. Because two rounds once becomes, one round consistently becomes 16. So this idea of, hang on, Krishna, I'm now going to forget you. I shouldn't. I deeply acknowledge that because that's not my constitutional position. I am a soul. My permanent role is to give you pleasure. As soon as you do that, you're happy. It's unlimited happiness. It's kind of weird. It's like, but it's letting go of the madness of yourself. That's what you're letting go of. The multi-trillion previous birth hallucination that you've created. Which is this thing, probably maybe I don't actually like fried cabbage. I just happen to like it in this body, you know. I'm on this tongue. Oh God, you know. And suddenly all this thing, oh, control the tongue fast. It becomes so easy. I can actually don't eat for 24 hours. It's so easy. I'm the body. You get a deep understanding. Oh, that's what, because it gives Krishna pleasure. Oh, well, of course I'll do it. Oh, well, that will give Krishna pleasure. Let me go over there. And suddenly you're running around looking for devotional service like a madman. Yeah. Yeah. And that's where you want to be. Because it's like, oh, okay. So you start the day and go, what can I do for Krishna? So this mindset starts with, if you're doing japa in the morning, you will go, okay. Like I used to have an expensive aftershave, right? This is a practical example of this. And sometimes people give me expensive aftershave. Just go to duty free and buy. You know. Now I've got some expensive aftershave. My wife gave it to me as a present. You know, I was like, don't do it again. So the only time I can wear that aftershave is I'm going to an event at a temple, or I'm coming here to give a talk, or doing something like that. I never wear the aftershave for normal meetings or normal talks and meeting normal people. Because if that's the best thing, one of the best things I've got, that's got to be for Krishna. It can't be for my own pleasure. So then that just does this 380 degrees in the way you approach life. It just changes it around. You're much closer to that constitutional position. So this, if you really understand the spiritual, I'm the origin of the spiritual and material worlds. Right? That says in the first bit. The wise who know this surrender unto me completely. They're not interested in their own thing. You know, I'm going to go and listen to Mozart. Before I used to listen to classical music and try and play piano. I was so cool I can play piano. You know? But now it's like, okay, when can I learn this, do a kirtan where I can have more people come so I can give them literature that Prabhupada's written. You know? Otherwise it has no meaning to me now. But this was like the most difficult journey, and the last bits when you're letting go of are the hardest bits. Because a part of you's going, but I still want to be a dog, it was fun. It's the last week in the psychiatric institution, right? No, stop barking. I want to be still. It's not fun, you're crazy, look at what you did to my office. You know, that's what psychiatrists will say. And it's that last bit that's so difficult. You know? But what we do, what helps us is the way we can use our mind. So we can go 100% for Krishna, 0% for me, 100% for Krishna, 0% for me. We can, every day we say it. After a week it's like, what? You know? And occasionally you go, shall I go and do this? You know, how's that going to connect to Krishna? And it starts changing your behavior. And you're chanting, so the material energy, which is under Krishna's control, is staying more and more away from you, and then you're proactively going, I know that trick, I know that trick, I know that trick. You know, and you just change as a person, completely change. You're not being off the material stuff. So that is something to start maybe thinking about if you're not doing it already. You know, I think this idea of every day is a day for Krishna, is a day for service. You know, where can I go? And if I've got a couple of books left in the car, I buy a $3 book from the temple. Who's the person I speak to the most? I can slip this in a way that they won't feel offended. They can take another Prabhupada book. So, okay, we plan the whole week for that. You know, you start changing that, and what you will discover is everything will just be easy because Krishna will remove. You know, the old film, the Ten Commandments, the Hollywood movie of the 50s and 60s, where Moses goes and the water parts and Moses is walking across the Red Sea or whatever it is, Dead Sea or whatever it is. I don't remember, but it's like that. Krishna, you will notice Krishna will actively go, you know. I was like, today, when I was coming here, because we hadn't had a class for a few weeks before Christmas. I couldn't remember where I put the keys. So I started looking for the keys. I was like, I don't need to do this, I just need to bow down to Krishna. So I bowed down to Krishna and went, oh, I put it on my back. I know, it will just help me. You can have that level of faith. Krishna is going to split, you know, because you've seen that. Over time, you start, the more you see, the more you let go, the more you'll see. I've obviously watched too many movies, but you may remember Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade with the Nazis, and I don't know if you've seen that movie, where they kind of, at the end of it, they're kind of looking for the Holy Grail. The Nazis are looking for the Holy Grail, because if you drink from the Holy Grail, you never die. You stay in the material world forever. It's like hell. But it's not for the Nazis, they want the Holy Grail. And in the end, they come to a bridge, and they come to a ravine, and the Holy Grail's on the other side, and there's no bridge. So they've gone through all this torment of climbing up this crumbling temple, and they come outside. And Harrison Ford sort of closes his eyes and goes, I've got to take a leap of faith, it's God. He takes a leap of faith, he puts a step forward, and then the whole bridge appears. He doesn't fall into the ravine. You know? And there are moments as you progress in Bhakti where you meet those ravines, and because you're chanting, as opposed to before where you would have gone, oh, I'll stay in the temple too long. Man, I want to go. For me, it was like, I'll stay in the temple too long, there's a bar around the corner. Temple, yeah, I'm supposed to be, I don't know why it feels good here, but I'm sure the bar feels better. So I go back to the bar. Yeah. But eventually I'll be like, no. Yeah, no, let me stay here for a bit longer. Just feels, and then you start building those blocks, you know. And the end game, what you're learning here is what's the end game of my game. Well, the end game to win the Monopoly game or the chess game or whatever is 100% for Krishna, 0% for you. Because that's total surrender. And that's what the wise do. That's. Okay, so let's make sure my notes, I haven't forgotten to do this. So this is a gradual process, that's the other thing I've worked out. So it's not something to kind of suddenly, you can't change all that stuff all of a sudden. You've got to do the bhakti to cleanse what's happened in the previous lives. You've got to do the chanting. And the more you do that, then that will go away, and then you'll get to the position 100% Krishna. And then you, like, everything you do, sometimes you can go crazy. I do this to myself because I'm mad, obviously. What was in this breath? Why did I take this breath for myself? What am I doing? And then you go, now I start to understand why Prabhupada was doing all this stuff. Going around the world and building these temples. And he was like, why am I taking this breath for myself? Like, if I'm here breathing, it's for Krishna. Everything I do must be for Krishna. So chapter 18, which will look at the idea of karma phala jagi, which is the outcome of all work we do is actually Krishna's, because this material energy, our bodies, our cells, and everything that's produced from it belongs to the Lord. We have to acknowledge that, you know, because we're here to give Him pleasure. You know. So then we have the big dividing wall in Bhakti is Bhakti for reformation of your behavior, and then it's Bhakti that gives Krishna pleasure. And so you would go from reformation, giving Krishna pleasure. Obviously, when you're doing the reformation, that's giving Krishna pleasure, but then you're actively looking to give Krishna pleasure. Okay, any questions? Does that make sense? Roughly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to articulate this, but during the day, mostly when we remember, or in general, it's usually when not we are experiencing pleasure, but when we are in pain. That's when you remember, just give me that strength to get through.
Yeah.
And of course, while we practice this, 0% for me, 100% for Krishna, this is not for me. Let's say I just got a mango from the grocery, and in the second bite I got, this is just such a yummy mango, I should have remembered to offer it to him. So that's when I remember, when I go for the second bite. But as soon as there's pain, you remember, and you don't want to offer that. But then and as human, you just keep moving from the cycle of pain and pleasure and pain and pleasure. and you want to get detached from both, or and experience the bliss. I don't know. Yes.
No, very, very good. Actually, that's amazing, because as soon as you're starting to think, I should have offered it, that's 90% of the game, because you've already understood that the most important is you should have offered it. So then you just got to turn that into a habit. That's like, you know you've got to indicate before you turn, so you just now got to start doing it. So that's just a simple bit. You've done the hard bit, you've understood that. Yes, I wouldn't worry about that. I think that our natural, what we will understand over time is, the first bit you said, I come to Krishna when I'm distressed or whatever, you know, I feel bad, or I'll go to Krishna, you know, we all do this. And Krishna, of course, says, you know, 4 types of pious people come to me. In chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita, those who are inquisitive, those who are in distress, you know, those are seekers of wealth, and those who want knowledge. So that is the beginning of bhakti, that acknowledgement, I need the Lord. That's the starting point to get you on the road to bhakti. Yeah? But the secret is that if you do 100% for Krishna, 0% for you, you don't have the distress. So you don't have to remember Krishna when you're in distress. The distress is understood in a different way. Because distress is like, I'm in Krishna's, but this is important actually. I'm in Krishna's material energy because it's here to reform me, to make me a true, pure devotee. And if I'm in distress, that's karma, which is here to help me become who I really should be. So please get rid of the, you know when they say eventually people pray, give me the bad karma, and let me have some bad stuff happen to me so I can finish my journey. Like, whereas early on in bhakti, it's like, don't give me the bad karma, don't give me the bad karma, don't hurt me, I don't want to suffer, you know. But now in knowledge, this is key to this verse. Once you're in knowledge, it's like, no, I need to, you know. But Krishna, karma is part of Krishna's rule book, so he's going to go, I don't need to put this naughty kid into detention anymore. I don't need to give them the bad karma because they're not bad anymore. The purpose has been served, right? Because so you don't need to be in distress. That's why if you're 100% for Krishna and 0% for you, you're not in distress. Then you actually don't get the bad karma. Karma's gone. Okay? It's chanting. You're just going every day. It's going. If you're chanting every day, you can't actually put it on quickly enough. I mean, if you're chanting what we call offensive chanting, you know, and you'll have an inimical, like adverse relation view of Krishna, that's different. Not like Sishapal or Cancer or these demons. I'm talking about a devotee trying to progress with sincerity, chanting. The karma goes. You know? You cannot believe, in actually in a very short space of time, where you'll end up just by chanting every morning, you know, especially if you get to 16 rounds. I actually now look at my life, I go, last year when I did 16 rounds every day, all these amazing things happened in bhakti. What's going to happen next year? Wow. You just get up and do the 16 rounds, because you actually start to look back. This is why if you can keep a diary or a note of what's going on, you look back over 2 or 3 years, 4 years, you'll see like, I need to keep chanting, this is amazing. I'm just like, that used to annoy me, and it doesn't even annoy me anymore. It's like, I don't even care. Krishna will sort it out, Krishna will sort it out, whatever, Krishna will sort it out. Obviously, don't sort of run around naked, Krishna will sort it out, you know, because we're here we have the right obligation to do our duties, you know, but we're doing them for Krishna, so we're not really doing them from a material point of view. You know. That's the point. When we're going to work, and we can be creative about this. We'll probably do a creative workshop. But apart from just going to the temple, or just coming up to classes, or just doing Harinam, we have unlimited potential in how we can serve the Lord. Okay? If we're all in Vrindavan right now, we left this body, we might go, let's make a surprise cake for him. Or let's play a little kind of joke for him like this. We'd be constantly thinking, what can we do for him next? What can we do for him? Okay? One of the examples, sorry, on the same previous point, one of the examples I was always told, which I thought was, I find it difficult to understand this, but when the gopis make a giant cake for Krishna, like let's say it's like a wedding cake for a billionaire or something, like huge, right? Make this giant cake, and Krishna comes along and walks off. They don't go, oh my God, what can they just run and go, what do you want? We'll make the next thing. You know, they're not interested in like keeping themselves happy. It's like, oh, it didn't work, okay, what's next? You know? So that's something to be borne in mind. Just sort of let go of yourself a little bit, and the japa is going to help you do that. I cannot emphasize this enough because I didn't believe this. You know, I was like, oh, come on, you know, like chanting 16 rounds, and you're telling me I'm going to be at peace, like some sort of movie Zen, you know. Actually, it's true. You know, I'm going to get initiated in this cult. She must be joking. Back to the bar. Look at the idiots jumping around on the streets. You know, I don't mind going to the temple. I don't mind reading a bit of the Bhagavad Gita now and again. It's interesting, but you know, where's my vodka? That was my life when I was 21, 22. So it does work, and Krishna does control material energy. And eventually, when you're chanting, you'll know he's there. When you have that, you'll get the sincerity because he'll clean it out for you. He'll be there, and you'll know when you put the beads down that you don't want to put them down. Yeah. That's when you're starting to win. It's like, I don't want to get anything material over them. And it's okay, but it's okay because you already know that this day is about making some money to do this other thing for Krishna. So I'm now going to do something else for you, so just wait here. I'm going to go back tomorrow morning, or later in the afternoon when I chant some more. Okay? I'll do 20 rounds, 25, 30, whatever you do. You know. So you come back and go, okay. And you have a conversation. This is what I did today because I was trying to do this for you. Because he's a person. This is what people forget. It's not impersonalism. He's a person. We have to deal with him as a person. He has likes and dislikes. You know. So it's not. One of the things we're totally against is Mayavad idea that he's some energy. And no, he's a person. You know. So it's like you have to treat him as a person. You know. If you start treating your child like, oh, he's some energy, you know, and not as a person, it just doesn't. It doesn't go very well. You know, they'll start getting really having lots of tantrums. Not that Krishna will do that, he's very, very patient. Yeah, so I'll leave you one little thing. I was you know, when, this is completely extreme end of the spectrum. So when Krishna has 3 different types of flute, do you know about this? We'll talk about this next time. So there's 3 different types of flute. I've forgotten the names of them now. There's a short golden flute, and then there's a long bamboo flute, and I think the short golden one's a third the length. And when he picks up any of the flutes, the demigods are very aware, because when he's here, he's very aware, they're very pious, they're aware he's here, and he picks up on the flutes. And as he takes a breath, a lot of the demigods actually faint, because they know what's going to happen. And if he hasn't played for a day or two, and he plays the flute, Brahma actually falls off. He falls off his, basically his plane, just falls off and faints. It's so powerful, it's so nectarian, it's so pure. Like he knows Brahma is so intelligent, material. He knows what it is. Like, that's the power of Krishna. You know? And they say that just by raising his eyebrow, basically people just faint. If the gopis are there, he's playing, and some of them are going, is he going to raise his eyebrow? He raises his eyebrow, he's just going to faint. He's going to just completely pass out. It's so beautiful, it's so extraordinary. It's just, that's why a lot of people say if he's got jewelry on, right? The jewelry is relevant. He makes the jewelry look beautiful on the other way around. It's a very famous thing about Krishna. He's the ornament for the ornaments. Anyway. Some stuff from another world. But we can talk, there isn't one of the most, I'm so glad this is available to us. Indrajit Swami's Symptoms of Ecstatic Love lecture series. I think it's on episode 200 now. But these are all things that happen in Vrindavan. Like, if you really want to know what's actually going to go on and what you're going to end up doing eventually. So you're going to end up fainting when you, oh my God. I can't imagine that's to come, so don't worry. Anyway, unless there's any more questions. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your.
I think this happens to make this one.
Kirtan, Adelaide. Leave a like and subscribe.